I have a prophetic word based on a dream I just had. It goes like this. I I dreamed that I was in a church that that's in Raleigh that I had gone to in high school, and it was a charismatic church. And it was after the service, and I spoke to a sister whose initials are SH, and I went up to a window, and there was this little cat that was walking around the sanctuary, and it was like a tabby cat, had two collars around it, and I said, "Could I take this cat home?" I picked it up and I said, "Can I take this cat home because I really think my daughters would like it?" And she said, "Oh yeah, that's fine." And I got it from the Salvation Army though, so um, the thing of it is if it gets misplaced, the Salvation Army might give me a penalty if they find the collar on it, and then they'll report that it was a lost that it was lost, and then they'll come back to me with a fine. And I was like, oh, no problem. I'll just get a scissors and cut the collar off and take care of it myself. She was like, yeah, that's fine. So I took the little cat home, and as I came out of the building, the weather was extremely rainy and stormy. I mean, it was like completely the opposite of the way it looked out the window from inside the church. So now the storm rain is coming down so strong. It's like a monsoon out in the Philippines. I mean, it's just like walls and walls of water just pouring down, and it's really dreary, um, and I have this tiny little um, thing that I'm holding up as an umbrella, but it's not working. And my cat gets soaking wet, and it gets so hit by so much water that it falls out of my hands, and it's like almost dead in the in on the ground, just covered in water. If you've ever seen an animal covered in water before, I mean, they look really skinny, and it looked like a skinny little squirrel that was just covered in water. It looked emaciated, and it was almost, I think it was knocked out. I don't think it was dead. It was knocked out because all this water had hit it so hard. So I picked it up, this poor little thing, in my hands, and I tried to run through the parking lot, and that was the end of that section of the dream. Oh, and the cat's name was Mr. Gunderson. That was the name of the cat. Mr. Gunderson. I'll get to that later. All right, now the second phase of the dream uh, goes to me being in this circus place. I'm in a circus environment of some type, and I go in, and now there's all these dancers, all these women dancers, and the Holy Spirit was trying to show me something about those dancers because the Holy Spirit masked the sensuality of it. I think that when the Holy Spirit shows things that are sensual, that are vices, He masks it, just like in the Bible. And uh, I could tell that they were doing sensual dances, but it was from such a distance I could really not really be deeply impressed by it in a tempting sense. And I was like, man. And I was looking for a specific person, and I couldn't find that person. That person had been lost in the crowd, lost in the world. And so I eventually start leaving the fairgrounds or whatever it is. And here comes a man walking on stilts, real tall. Maybe, I don't know, 12 feet tall. Here he comes walking on stilts, and it's nighttime, and he's walking underneath the street lamp, just right underneath the street lamp. And he's got a big giant bicycle. And who is it? It's Billy Sunday, the evangelist from Chicago, the fundamentalist preacher. It's Billy Sunday, and somebody speaks to him and says something like, couldn't you take that basketball and just dunk it in there without any effort whatsoever? Oh, yeah, I used to do it all the time. And that's what he said. And that's the end of the dream. I sat on this for a while, and I do think it was from the Holy Spirit, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a prophetic word. Here's my interpretation. The cat in the charismatic church represents, it's a Salvation Army cat that represents Wesleyanism, that represents Wesleyan holiness beliefs. In the charismatic church that we grew up with, the dads who led that church heavily influenced by easy believism type thinking. So again, this is the second time I dreamed of this sister. The other time I dreamed of her was also of her and her husband about, 3 months ago. And so this cat was a Salvation Army cat. Okay. So I took the cat home, and his name was Mr. Gunderson. Well, I thought that was really specific in terms of symbolism, and that sounded like a riddle to me. So I went and Googled Mr. Gunderson, and what's the first thing that popped up on Wikipedia? I mean, the first thing that pops up on the internet when you type Mr. Gunderson in. There's a Wikipedia article about a man named Ted Gunderson, who was one of the lead FBI agents, and he, if you look at his picture, he looks almost exactly like Fox Mulder from X-Files. He investigated the deaths of Marilyn Monroe and John F. Kennedy, and different cases of satanic ritual abuse. I think in this case, he's the cat, or the cat is him, or the cat is like unto him. The cat is a cat of discernment. The cat is a cat of investigation. The cat is a discernment cat. And the cat represents, make sure to take care of it. However, discernment will come under attack, spiritual attack from the principalities and powers of the air. And so therefore that's the intense rain that knocked the cat out, that knocked spiritual discernment out. And so I picked up that discernment and kept it with me, didn't want it to die. And I plowed ahead, and I found Billy Sunday. Billy Sunday in the midst of the world, standing as a giant among men. God bless out there. This is John with WesleyGospel.com.